This is the week 12 and 13 report for the puppy Dan. Dan's doing fine, growing like a weed, getting bigger and stronger all the time. During week 12, he went back to the vet and got his third round of immunizations, and at that point, the vet asked and recommended, since he's going to be in the field, that I get the lepto vaccine. The lepto, from what I understand, and I'm not a vet, of course, but from what I understand, is something they can get from other wild animals. Not from other dogs, but from wild animals that you're going to have in the field. So if you've got a bird dog, your dog's going to be susceptible to it. There is a small risk with this vaccine. Certain breeds, the risk is higher than others. Most of the pointing breeds, it's not much of an issue. The chances of getting a reaction are very low, and for that action to be severe is much, much lower. You're going to take that little bit of a risk now, or you're going to be taking that risk every day you're in the field with the dog. So that would be my suggestion. Dan needs to go back one more time in about 3 weeks from the last visit and get his last round of shots. He'll get his first rabies vaccination, and he'll be good for a year. And be ready to go, ready to go out in the field and without any worries or cares. Now, you can also get a kennel cough vaccine. It's just a little squirt up their noses. I would recommend it. Even if you're not going to be kenneling the dog somewhere along the line, it can't hurt. And as I understand, that risk of anything having any kind of reaction is just almost non-existent. So that would be my recommendation. Something I wanted to mention to you was that maybe adding a word. One of the words that I would suggest that you add to your little repertoire are words that you're going to use with your puppy right now every day would be kennel. And from time to time I'll be adding words because sometimes I use them without realizing I'm using them. Every day, when you put him in the kennel, you want to use that word kennel. He will eventually understand what the kennel is, and even if he doesn't hop in, he knows what you're asking him. So that would be my recommendation. Another thing, it happens with every pup that I've ever had, and I've had a lot of luck with having naturally retrieving dogs. And I'm not sure if this is a result of, doing what I'm going to recommend here as a part of that, or if it's just the breeds of the dogs I have, or the individual dogs that I've had that made them natural retrievers. But, get yourself a tennis ball. You can pick them up at any pet store or whatever. Not the full size. They've got them for a puppy's mouth. They've got 3 or 4 different sizes that your puppy should be able to get in his mouth and retrieve. And sitting on the couch in the evening, the puppy's playing with it. You can get them with a squeaker. Those are great because they love to squeak. And just flip it down the hall. If he brings it back, fine. If he doesn't, just forget about it. Don't throw it again. Don't go get it yourself necessarily until you're ready to pick up that night. But, if he brings it back to you, let him have it for a while. Don't immediately grab it out of his mouth. When he's set it down or whatever, or if he comes over by you, a lot of times they will. They just come up by you. That's just the way puppies are. And take it out and fling it down the hallway again from on the living room sofa and let him run down and get it. And as he's doing this and running back, praise, put a little excitement in it. Good boy, that's so boy. All right, Dan, good dog. You're going to put a little excitement in it. They like that. Okay. Now that you've done that a couple times, you want to quit. I know it's tempting and it's cute, and your wife and your kids are going to want to keep doing it and keep doing it. It's been my experience. Always quit leaving them wanting more. So 2 or 3 tosses, 4 or 5 at the very most. And if they're still doing it, you're perfect time to quit because they want to do it more. And wanting to get that ball more, retrieve it, and bring it back to you more, to go on, keep doing it, and doing it again in the future, that's what you're looking for. Whether you got natural retriever or not, it's certainly going to help. You don't want to grab the bird or the ball out of the mouth and make a training session out of it. That's not what you're doing. If you want to throw in the word fetch it up, it ain't going to hurt anything. I don't know that it's necessary, but you could add it. I think just throwing it and having to bring them back and praising them is adequate. And yesterday, just one more thing here. Yesterday I did take Dan out to the local club, and we liberated 3 quail, and just kind of 2 of them we just kind of flew out of the recall pen, and one of them we kind of planted so we knew where it was, and we took Dan out. Well, around here it is really green yet. I didn't realize how green it was, and Dan had quite a bit of difficulty locating that bird, which as a new puppy owner was concerning. But later on, the guy that was with me brought out his 2-year-old dog, and that dog struggled finding the bird. He run right over the top of them also. And I've trained and hunted with the dog. The dog doesn't have any trouble finding birds. So it's just really green. The middle of October, it's really green, and he was having trouble finding him. So we just kind of stood around and kind of kept him in the area and called him back and walked him back and forth. And finally, the silly bird, even though he could smell it, he couldn't pinpoint it. And dogs they're not born knowing exactly what they're doing, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know how else to put it. They just know that they smell something, and they really don't know what that smell is. I mean, I've had people tell me it's instinctive, that the bird smell is pleasant to them. Could be. I don't know, but they don't really know how to find things with their nose definitively. And I think it's maybe one of the reasons why bird dogs will point, because their eyes aren't that good. They really can't see that camouflage bird in the tall grass or whatever. And if you ever planted them and found them yourself, they can be difficult to see in there. I've had whole coveys come up under my feet, and I've stomped around for, 20 steps before they come up, and they're just 15 birds at my feet. So they're really difficult to see, and they're very difficult for the dog to see also. So we let Dan go around. Finally, the silly bird flew a few feet, and Dan seen it, and well, the game was on, and he chased that bird a little way, and it flew, I guess, maybe 50 feet, something like that. And he didn't quite chase it that far, and he looked for it a little bit and came back, and we went over to another area where we've seen a bird fly to, and one of the other birds that we had liberated, and he found that bird, and we flushed it, and it wasn't a good flying bird, and it turned out that was great because it could fly 25, 30 feet, was just enough to keep out the pup and re-hide in the weeds, and Dan got to point it several times. It was just great. I mean, that was a great bird. And after that, not unlike the tennis ball, we quit. No sense pushing the envelope. It was the time to quit. He did everything he needed to do. He found bird. He didn't get to retrieve it. He didn't catch it, which that's all right with me. That no one catch it anyhow. So that was good. I didn't care if he caught it at this stage, but if he would have, it wouldn't have been a big disaster. So that like I said, we got the other dog out, and it struggled finding it. It was an older dog, so be patient. And just because the dog doesn't run right up and find that bird that you know is there and point it immediately, the puppy I'm talking about, don't panic. It's a learning curve for them. Just like if you're a new puppy owner, a first-time bird dog owner, it's a learning curve for you. So that's the end of my report for week 12 and week 13. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.